Ladies and gentlemen, this is the XFL.
Nice try doing the Miss McMahon impression. But A for effort, though, sir. A for effort.
And that was originally the iconic introduction to what would be, at the time, a colossal failure.
But since Mr. McMahon is hands off this time, this can actually be a colossal success. I was very impressed with the opening weekend of the XFL. How about you?
Yes. And officially, I want to welcome you to Cajun Connection. How you doing, Cajun Nation?
I was about to say Cajun Asian. Like, wait, what? So we're some Asian Cajuns now? Like, we age quick? Like, it's the South. We eat, we like to eat cornbread and red beans and rice and greens and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, when I was in Phoenix, there was a Cajun grill that served Cajun teriyaki chicken. Okay, and it was right next to the red beans with rice. I ain't making that up. That was in the Tempe Mall, Arizona Mills Mall.
Arizona is not the South. That is the West. Okay. We Southern folk don't claim Arizona. We do not claim them. I would like to visit there someday, but I do not claim Arizona's part as far as Southern folk. Just because you a Southern state doesn't mean you are Southern folk. Southern folk is Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida and Texas.
Yeah.
But anyways, actually some crazy news at the XFL. After one game, the Los Angeles Wildcats fired their defensive coordinator Pepper Johnson after their loss to the Houston Roughnecks. I was about to say Rednecks. Good lord. Basically LA had a 14-6 lead at halftime, and PJ Walker, Houston Roughnecks quarterback, came out swinging in the second half with 4 touchdown passes as the Roughnecks handled the Wildcats 37-17. So Pepper Johnson loses his job after one game.
I know. That was just kind of weird. It's like, at least get the guy a chance to redeem himself. Jeez.
I mean, what I like about the XFL is that there's a lot of NFL talent, a lot of familiar faces that we may know as far as coaching and the players. A lot of greats from college, a lot of people that were once drafted in the NFL. I mean, like, for example, Jordan Teamu, who was a prolific quarterback from Ole Miss. He's a starting quarterback for the St. Louis Battlehawks. Matt McGloin, who was a former Penn State quarterback, former quarterback for the Oakland Raiders. He was a bit of a journeyman. He's quarterback for the New York Guardians. Aaron Murray, who is one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the University of Georgia, is now quarterback for the Tampa Bay Vipers.
For now,
because he looked
that was bad.
That
was bad.
But New York Guardians, I gotta hand it to New York Guardians. They look good.
Yeah. Also, I was impressed with the performance from Cardell Jones
for the oh Lord, for DC Defenders.
DC Defenders, and they played the
They played against the Seattle Dragons.
Seattle Dragons, yeah.
And the same quarterback from Troy State University that ended up bringing his Trojans down to Tiger Stadium and knocked off the LSU Tigers. You remember that? That's the same guy he started for the Seattle Dragons. So it's refreshing seeing him lose and getting his backside kicked by the DC Defenders. Felt good.
So first impressions, I liked it. I really did. It was interesting seeing the kickoff, how for those of y'all who don't know, the kicker starts at their own 20 and the return guy is on his own 20. The kickoff team is on the opposing 35, and the return team, or the rest of the return team, is lined up on their own 30, and nobody can move other than the kicker and the returner until the ball is caught. And I thought that was a very interesting
It's just
concept.
like when that ball is caught, just start killing each other.
But it also means that people are not coming at each other at torpedo speed and having collisions.
And I think that's very innovative. At first, when I first looked at it, I'm like, what in tarnations is going on? But I'm just like, well, I mean, at least they're not killing each other. But I mean, if you're going to kill each other, it's going to be close combat.
Another thing that I really liked, at least found interesting, we'll see how it develops. So far, it has not been utilized to its full potential, but that is the extra point system. Instead of kicking for a 1 point extra point
At I think it's 2.
at the end of a touchdown, you can go for one from the 2 yard line.
Go for 2 from like the 5 yard line.
Yeah, the 5 yard line.
And then go for 3 from the 10 yard line.
Yeah, so, and never making the point that an 18-point lead is no longer safe in the XFL. There's a lot of, and the coaches were talking, there's a lot of strategy that now goes into that. So if you fall behind by multiple scores, you can still catch up relatively easy.
I mean, we're seeing some good defenses to where, I mean, I don't like some teams' chances.
Well, I have to take that with a grain of salt because it was the first game of the XFL's second inaugural season.
I mean, the thing is, teams have been scrimmaging each other all offseason. But, I mean, I understand, now it's that true game speed.
And a lot of these guys have not played for, 1, 2, 3 years? I mean...
And you have a lot of these coaches, they've been out for, 3 or 4 years. I mean, you look, Steve Spurrier is in the XFL, isn't he?
Yeah, Steve Spurrier and Bob Stoops.
So they haven't been coaching for a while.
Two big name coaches.
And so you see a lot of these players and coaches, they're trying to knock the cobwebs off and they're trying to really get themselves back in the swing of things. But I could see this being a huge success to where one day, not saying this season, but I'm just saying eventually it can get to maybe NFL caliber level. I mean, they already have NFL caliber guys, but Mr. McMahon, I mean, this is an experimental season, so I can see if it turns out to be a success this season, I can see Mr. McMahon expanding it and bringing in more teams. And hopefully he brings one to Louisiana, maybe. Hopefully.
We'll see about that. However, McMahon really, you could tell that he took this a hell of a lot more seriously than they did the first time around. For those who are old enough to remember the XFL's first inaugural season, and
was a disaster.
Yeah, it kind of feels weird that we're having a second inaugural season, but
but I mean, this one is a lot better laid out.
Originally the football was just absolutely terrible, and the gimmicks that they brought over from pro wrestling just got in the way.
So, like Mr. McMahon, he just had too much of a hand in it. And so,
the opening that I did, that was, they tried to make that a routine thing by bringing some wrestlers over to do commentary on the games. Like the games were called by pro wrestlers, and that's stupid.
That is, but and what I like about this is that they have they give us an in-depth look about how an XFL game is ran. Like, I mean, not only that, say if a player just made a play, they bring a reporter, sideline reporter, and they interview him. Like, they interview the coaches, they have a mic as far as on the referees, also on the replay officials. Like, there are plays that are being challenged, and replay officials, we can hear the decisions that they're making. Yeah. So it's like we have an in-depth look as if we're already there.
I also liked how the reporters had access to the players and coaches at any point during the game.
Your quarterback just threw a third interception. How's it feel to know that your quarterback sucks?
Basically, and when the kicker's like, you just missed a field goal. How does that feel? How do you get to counter that?
I would love to go to the LA Wildcats coaching staff, to the head coach, after that fourth touchdown by the Roughnecks, and just be like, so y'all just gave up a fourth touchdown. It's only been one game. You're going to fire Pepper Johnson? I would just love to have done that, and then this happens.
Another thing that impressed me was the pacing of the game. It is quick.
Well, I mean, the play clock is quicker.
Well, I mean, they adopted the 25-second play clock, which is found in college. But halftime was just 10 minutes.
And not only that, I mean, there's only 2 timeouts per half. So, and then I believe within the last 2 minutes of each half, after each play, the clock stops. Whether it's inbounds or out of bounds, that clock stops.
The only time the clock stops is inside of 2 minutes.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Inside 2 minutes of each half.
Yeah. So, they bringing in a lot of new, interesting concepts of football. I think that will give it the opportunity to stand out. The fact that they're actually playing actual good while not NFL quality football, it is definitely college
But
quality
I
football.
mean, we're not going to be seeing that, like, because you know how the NFL, they've gotten a lot more strict as far as penalties, as far as rules. We're not seeing that in XFL. It's some to where the fans, and the reason why the ratings are going to increase and there's going to be a bigger turnout at these games is that, I mean, fans, they feel like, I mean, and me as a diehard football fan, I feel like we're going to be seeing actual good quality gladiator football over the coming weekends. And I mean, I feel good because I feel like as fans, when we feel like football is truly back, like the true nature of the sport is back in XFL.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. In fact, I suggested we actually go to a game in Houston, which
I'm down. I'm down for it.
Towards the second half of the season. So, I mean,
Hey, go Roughnecks. Those boys look good.
I'm excited. I'm really excited and hopeful. It'll be nice to have an actual football league succeed outside the NFL for once.
I just hope that the XFL doesn't turn out to be the AAF, because the AAF was a complete financial disaster. I remember there were times where they almost did not hit payroll.
And that's another thing I want to bring up is that this is funded. McMahon has officially funded the league for 2 seasons. And they have official deals with CBS, Fox, and ESPN. Like
it's actually ABC, Fox, and ESPN.
So, 4 major networks right there.
And I mean, more money is going to come into where Mr. McMahon can keep funding XFL beyond 2 seasons. Like, I want to see this staying for about a good 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, XFL, what did you think? Tell us in the comments below. All right, we will be moving on to LSU recruiting after our little break.